Consumer Reports tests over 50 vehicles a year, and in 2025, 7 electric cars landed near the very bottom of that list. And it's not because of price. Not every electric vehicle lives up to expectations. Consumer Reports evaluates EVs based on road tests, owner satisfaction surveys, predicted reliability data, safety scores, and everyday usability, not just spec sheets. These 7 models ranked among the least impressive EVs on the market for reasons that go far beyond driving range. Let's get into it. Number 7. Nissan Leaf. The Nissan Leaf helped launch the modern EV era. Back when almost nobody was buying electric, the Leaf was already on the road, proving the concept could work. And that matters, because it means Nissan has had over a decade to fix the same complaints. Instead, older Leaf generations have been stuck running the same basic battery chemistry, without the active thermal management most rivals use to protect range in extreme heat or cold. That means a Leaf parked outside in a heat wave or a deep freeze can lose usable range fast. And unlike liquid-cooled competitors, there's no system actively working to prevent it. Charging is the bigger issue. Most Leaf trims still rely on the same CHAdeMO fast charging standard, a format that public charging networks are actively phasing out in favor of newer connectors, meaning Leaf owners increasingly have fewer places to fast charge at all. And that gap will only widen as more networks drop CHAdeMO support entirely over the next few years. Nissan has finally responded with a redesigned third-generation Leaf starting around $29,990, boasting up to 303 miles of EPA estimated range on its last 75 kilowatt-hour battery. A class-exclusive Bose sound system, a panoramic dimming roof, and access to over 27,500 Tesla superchargers through a built-in NACS port. On paper, that's a genuine leap forward, but the redesign only underlines the problem. For years, buyers were sold on a car running noticeably behind the technology curve. And the used and ongoing models that still dominate the Leaf's ownership base carry all of those old weaknesses. Older infotainment, slower charging, and a battery warranty that, while covering 8 years or 100,000 miles, doesn't erase the anxiety of owning a car built on yesterday's charging standard. Combine that with an interior that feels dated next to newer competitors and driver assist tech that lags behind cars costing the same money, and you get a Pioneer that's been coasting on reputation far longer than it should have. A Pioneer that's finally showing its age. Number 6. Subaru Solterra. The Solterra offers plenty of safety features, standard all-wheel drive, and the kind of rugged, trustworthy image Subaru has spent decades building. But Consumer Reports noted that it struggles to stand out against rivals offering more range, faster charging, and better overall value, even with the redesigned 2026 model pushing range up to 288 miles and adding a fast charge system that goes from 10 to 80% in about 28 minutes, plus a new battery preconditioning system meant to help in cold weather. The Solterra is still playing catch-up rather than leading. Starting around $38,495, it sits in a price bracket packed with EVs that charge faster, travel farther, and come from brands that built their platforms as electric vehicles from day one instead of adapting existing architecture. Reviewers have also flagged the infotainment system as clunky and slow to respond compared to newer competitors. And while Subaru touts class-leading ground clearance of 8.3 inches and genuine off-road capability through its signature symmetrical all-wheel drive, most Solterra buyers will never take it off pavement, meaning they're paying for strength they don't need while missing out on the range and charging speed they do. Even Subaru's own marketing leans heavy on trust and longevity rather than performance or technology, which tells you something about where the company knows this car actually competes. It's not a bad vehicle by any measure, it's just outclassed by cars built with a 5-year technology advantage baked into their bones. Good, but not good enough in today's EV market. Number 5. Toyota bZ4X. Toyota's first dedicated EV entered the market with enormous expectations. This is the company that basically invented the modern hybrid. After all, buyers assumed the bZ4X would be the EV equivalent of the Camry, unremarkable but bulletproof. However, limited range, slower charging performance, and strong competitors have prevented it from becoming a top recommendation. Even in its best configuration, the bZ4X tops out around 314 to 352 miles of combined range depending on trim and market. But it charges at a maximum of roughly 150 kilowatts, noticeably behind rivals now pushing well past 200 kilowatts at the same price point. That gap means a 10 to 80% charge takes around 30 minutes under ideal conditions, and real-world charging sessions often run longer once temperature and charger availability come into play. Starting prices land in the high 30,000s to mid 40,000s depending on trim, which puts the bZ4X squarely against EVs that simply charge faster and go further for similar money. Reviewers have also consistently described the driving experience as cautious and forgettable, safe, predictable, but lacking the responsiveness for personality that makes a Toyota. Even the standard suite of driver assist technology, while comprehensive, feels more like a checklist than a standout feature when competitors are packaging similar tech with a noticeably better charging and range story. For a brand with this much engineering credibility, the bZ4X feels like a company still finding its footing in a category it should already be leading. Buyers expected much more. Number 4. Fiat 500e. The Fiat 500e delivers charming, unmistakably Italian styling and city-friendly dimensions that make it genuinely fun to dart through tight urban streets. But its practicality, driving range, and overall value fall short compared to many similarly priced EVs. Starting around $25,000, the 500e's battery delivers a real-world range of up to 199 miles combined. Respectable for a city car, but a serious limitation the moment you leave dense urban driving for a highway trip or a weekend away. Rapid charging from 10 to 80% takes about 30 minutes, which is still competitive. Still, the smaller battery pack means those charging stops come around far more often than they would in a rival with even a modestly larger battery. Cargo space is tight, rear seat room is minimal, and while the styling and regenerative braking system draw people in, the everyday practicality simply isn't there for anyone whose driving extends beyond a short commute. It's also worth noting the 500e is available in both hatchback and convertible body styles, which adds appeal for buyers chasing personality over utility. But that same focus on charm over practicality is exactly why Consumer Reports can't recommend it broadly. Great for some drivers, but difficult to recommend broadly. If you made it this far, hit subscribe because the next 3 cars on this list include a luxury SUV from one of the most respected brands in the world, and you won't believe what Consumer Reports had to say about it. Number 3. Lexus RZ. The RZ offers the comfort and refinement you'd expect from Lexus, a quiet cabin, premium materials, and the kind of build quality the brand has built its reputation on for decades. But Consumer Reports criticized its range, charging performance, and overall competitiveness. Compared with luxury EV rivals, starting at $47,395, the base RZ 350e delivers only 264 to 301 miles of manufacturer estimated range depending on wheel size. And the more powerful all-wheel drive trims actually see that number drop further. The 450e AWD manages around 264 miles, while the highest performance 550e F Sport trim, which hits 0 to 60 in an acclaimed 4.1 seconds with 402 horsepower, sees its range fall even lower in exchange for that speed. In a segment where rivals are routinely clearing 300+ miles standard, Lexus is asking buyers to trade range for either luxury trim or performance, but rarely lets them have both at once. Even with a standard suite called Lexus Safety System Plus 3.0 and access to more than 76,000 public charging stations, the fundamental math doesn't work in the RZ's favor compared to what buyers can get elsewhere for similar money. You're paying a premium badge price for a driving experience that, according to Consumer Reports, simply doesn't deliver a premium EV experience. Premium badge, but not a premium EV experience. Number 2. Mercedes-Benz EQB. The EQB delivers a genuinely premium cabin, strong safety features, and the 3-pointed star badge that still carries serious weight in the luxury market. However, its efficiency, driving range, and value proposition lag behind many competitors in the same price category. The EQB is built on a platform originally designed for a gasoline-powered SUV and later adapted to run on batteries, and that compromise shows in the numbers. Its real-world range trails well behind EVs engineered from the ground up as electric vehicles, and its efficiency ratings are among the weakest in the entire Mercedes EV lineup. Owners have consistently reported that the range delivered in daily driving falls short of what similarly priced rivals offer, especially in cold weather or highway-heavy driving, where the comprised platform's extra weight and less efficient packaging really show. For a brand charging luxury prices, buyers expect segment-leading technology and range. Instead, they're getting a converted gas platform wearing an EV badge, with the everyday driving penalties that come with it. Luxury alone isn't enough anymore. Number 1. VinFast VF8. Few EVs have received as much criticism during their launch period as the VinFast VF8. Early reviews highlighted software issues, inconsistent refinement, and an ownership experience that failed to meet expectations for a vehicle in this price range, starting at $39,900 for the Eco trim and $44,900 for the Plus. The VF8 actually brings competitive numbers on paper: up to 256 miles of EPA range, an 87.7 kilowatt-hour battery, 10 to 70% charging in around 31 minutes, 402 horsepower on the Plus trim, and a 10-year, 125,000-mile warranty that sounds reassuring on the surface. But as a brand new automaker entering one of the most competitive markets on Earth, VinFast faced a steep learning curve, and early buyers effectively became the ones absorbing the growing pains. Reports of glitchy infotainment and over-reliance on touchscreen controls for basic functions, inconsistent build quality between individual vehicles, and slower-than-expected service and parts support have followed the model since launch. Problems that suggest a car rushed to market before the software and quality control had fully caught up to the hardware underneath it. Even the brand's ambitious expansion plans across North America haven't been enough to reassure buyers that support and resale value will hold up the way they would with an established automaker. It's one of the clearest examples of how a promising EV can struggle when execution falls short. So here's our final thoughts. So here you have it. 7 EVs ranging from budget-friendly to genuinely luxurious, and every single one of them landed near the bottom of Consumer Reports' list, with reasons that had nothing to do with simply being electric. Aging technology, disappointing range for the price, slower charging than the competition, and unfinished software. These are the things that turn an exciting EV purchase into years of regret, no matter how good the badge on the hood looks. The lesson here isn't that EVs are bad. It's that not every EV is built the same, and a trusted badge or a price tag doesn't guarantee you're getting a car actually engineered to compete in 2026's market. Doing your homework before you buy, real reliability data, not just marketing numbers, can save you from years of frustration and thousands of dollars in unexpected costs down the road. Which one of these surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. And if you want to see which EVs Consumer Reports actually recommends, subscribe so you don't miss that video.